Hey guys, so let's talk about methods. A method is the object-oriented term for a function. There is quite some discussion about this simplified definition, but I want to keep it this simple. Functions are a way to package together multiple statements. So a method is a code block that contains a series of statements in the context of a class. So far, we've been using methods without realizing. The program entry point is a method. It's called the main method. It's automatically called when the program starts. Calling a method means that it will run each instruction inside the method's body. The method's body is a section enclosed in the curly brackets. Methods represent the class behaviors. For example, we could have a player class that holds the player score and has a method to increase the score value. This would be the method declaration. When the method is called, it increments the score value by 1. We'll come back to how to declare methods in just a bit. First, let's see how to call a method. To call a method, we type the object instance name followed by dot and the method name followed by parentheses. When we call a method, the program runs the instructions inside the method's body. In this case, it would increment the score value by 1. Now let's see in what consists the method declaration. A method declaration includes the access level, the return value, the method name, and any optional parameters. We call this the method signature. Let's see each section in more detail. First, we have the access level. It works in the same way as with fields. When we need to call a method from the outside of the class, we need to declare it as public. Then we have the return type. To understand the return type, we need to introduce the return keyword. The return stops the method execution, returning control to the calling method. Let's see what it means. Calling a method means executing all the instructions inside the method body. When the execution reaches the end of the code block, it continues on the next line in the calling method. But we can use the return keyword to stop the execution at any time. This way, we prevent the method from reaching the end, and it returns immediately to the calling method. The return keyword can also return an optional value to the calling method. The keyword void means that the method does not return anything to the caller. In this case, we can omit the keyword. The method runs to the end of the code block and then returns to the calling method. But instead of void, the method can return a value. For example, it could return an integer value to the calling method. So the return type defines the type of value that the method returns when called. Please note that a method with a non-void return type is required to use the return keyword to return the value. In the player class example, we could have a method to return the score value. Then we could call that method to get access to the player score. Going back to the method declaration, after the return type we have the method name. Method names use the upper camel-case convention. And finally we have the method parameters. Parameters allow passing values to the method's body when calling it. The increment score method allows to increment the score value by 1. But what if we want to increase the score by a specific value? We can use the parameters to specify the increment when calling the method. We declare a parameter in the same way as a variable, choosing the data type plus the name. We can add as many parameters as we want as long as we separate them with commas. Now, inside the method's body, we use the pass value to increment the score. When calling the method, we need to provide a concrete value for the parameter. This is called an argument. So, when we call the method, we pass the argument, which is then added to the score inside the method's body. Please note that we must always conform to the method signature, meaning that if the method has parameters, we must provide all of them, neither more nor less. And also that we cannot have two methods with the same signature. But we can have methods with the same name as long as they have different parameters. We could, for example, maintain a method without parameters to increase the score by the default value of 1. This is called method overloading.